It was just another rainy afternoon. The kind where everyone rushes past with umbrellas up, heads down, eyes glued to the pavement. The world moved fast, cold and blind. But right there, in the middle of a busy sidewalk, was a shape, small, soaked, unmoving. A dog, thin as wire, curled tightly against a rusted pole. And not a single soul stopped. He didn't bark. He didn't whimper. He just sat there, silent, shivering, and invisible. People passed, umbrellas brushing his fur. Some glanced. Most didn't. A few winced. One woman even muttered, "That's not my problem," as she stepped around him. And then came the child. No more than 10. Sneakers soaked through. A plastic bag for a raincoat. He wasn't supposed to be there. He had run away from his foster home again. But something about the dog stopped him in his tracks. Maybe it was the stillness. Maybe it was the sadness that mirrored his own. He knelt, his thin knees hitting the wet concrete. Reaching out, he touched the dog's head gently. The dog flinched but didn't move away. "Hey," the boy whispered. "You cold too?" The dog lifted its head slightly, eyes glassy and slow. A flicker of connection passed between them. Not quite trust, but not fear either. The boy looked around. No one paid attention. Just a kid talking to a stray. But to him, this dog wasn't stray. He was abandoned. Just like him. He tugged his soaked hoodie tighter around his chest, then peeled it off and wrapped it around the dog. "There," he said. "Better." He didn't know where to go. But he knew he couldn't leave the dog. Not after that look. He tried to lift him, but the dog yelped, legs too weak to stand. So the boy sat down next to him, arms around his trembling body, shielding him from the wind. "I'll stay," he whispered. "I'll stay with you." And so he did. For hours. Pedestrians passed. A man dropped a coin at the boy's feet. A woman frowned and pulled her child away. But no one asked why he was there. No one asked if he was okay. And yet, for the first time in a long time, the boy didn't feel alone. A cop car slowed. The window rolled down. "You all right, kid?" The boy didn't answer right away. He looked down at the dog, still breathing barely. "He's sick," the boy said. "He needs help." The officer stepped out, crouched beside them. He examined the dog, then looked at the boy. "You with your parents?" The boy shook his head. "Where do you live?" "I don't," he replied. "Not really." The officer paused, the weight of that answer settling in. He radioed for animal control. Then he called in a social worker. "I'm not leaving him," the boy said as they tried to guide him away. "He needs someone." The officer nodded. "Then come with us. Both of you." At the shelter, they cleaned the dog up, gave him fluids. The vet said it was close, malnourishment, infection, weeks without proper care. But the dog survived the night. So did the boy. In a borrowed hoodie, sitting on a folded blanket in the shelter lobby, he waited. "He okay?" he asked the vet. The woman smiled softly. "He's a fighter. Just like you." The boy smiled. For the first time in months. Outside, the rain stopped. The city moved on. But inside that small shelter, something had changed. And just when the boy thought this might be the end of the story, he heard the shelter door open. A figure stepped in. Not the social worker. Someone else. And with that, everything shifted again. End of section 1. Waiting for your command to continue with section 2. The man who stepped through the shelter door was tall, in his late 30s, with weather-worn boots and a calm presence that filled the room. His eyes scanned the lobby until they landed on the boy curled up beside a folded blanket. "You the one who found the dog?" he asked. The boy stood slowly, unsure. "Yeah," he said quietly. The man nodded, removing his cap. "He's lucky you did." "His name's Shadow," the boy said suddenly. I think it should be." The man smiled. "Shadow. I like that." He knelt down next to the boy, noticing the way the child kept glancing back toward the hallway. Toward the medical room where Shadow was still recovering. "I work with rescue animals," the man said. "The officers who brought you two in, they called me. Said there was a boy who wouldn't leave a dog behind." The boy shifted his weight. "Is he going to be okay?" "He's not out of the woods yet," the man replied honestly. "But I think he's got a real shot now." The boy nodded. "Good." The man tilted his head. "What about you? Where's home?" The boy lowered his eyes. "Nowhere really. Group homes. Foster houses. I don't stay long." Something in the man's gaze changed. Less curiosity, more concern. More understanding. "I used to be in the system too," he said gently. "Bounced around a lot. It's hard. Makes you feel like no one wants you." Like you don't belong anywhere. The boy's lips pressed together. Yeah, the man continued. But someone once told me that sometimes the ones who've been through the most, they're the ones who know how to protect others the best. The boy didn't respond right away, but his eyes softened. I'm James, the man said, extending a hand. I help run a ranch just outside town. We rescue injured animals, dogs, horses, even owls once. The boy looked at the hand, then shook it. I'm Kai. James nodded. Kai, how would you like to come visit the ranch? Just to see it. Maybe Shadow can come too when he's better. Kai blinked. Really? James smiled. Really? It's not much, but it's a good place. Quiet. Safe. And we could use someone who understands animals like you do. Kai hesitated. The offer sounded too good. Too unreal. I don't want to go somewhere that'll send me back, he muttered. James shook his head. I'm not a shelter. I'm not a home that kicks you out in 3 weeks. I'm just someone who believes no soul, animal or human, should be left behind. Kai glanced toward the hallway again. Can I wait until he wakes up? James nodded. Of course. That night, Kai sat beside Shadow, who now had a name tag on his crate. The dog's eyes opened for a moment, and Kai reached through the bars to touch his paw. Shadow wagged his tail once, weak but alive. I told you I wouldn't leave, Kai whispered. The next morning, after a quiet ride in James' truck, Kai and Shadow arrived at the ranch. Fields stretched wide, dotted with rescue dogs playing under the sun. Horses grazed peacefully. The air was still. It didn't feel like a place people ran from. It felt like a place people stayed. James gave Kai a tour of barns, stables, the main house. Then he handed him a small key. This one's yours, he said. It's a little room by the dog kennels. You can help me feed them in the mornings, if you want. Kai stared at the key in his palm like it might disappear. I can stay. James nodded. As long as you want. No time limit. No paperwork for now. Just stay. Tears welled in Kai's eyes, but he wiped them away quickly. Thanks. Thank you, James said, for not walking by. That night, Kai slept with Shadow curled up beside his bed. The dog's breathing was stronger now. And so was the boy's. But the story didn't end there, because just a few weeks later, a letter arrived. And in it were words that would challenge everything Kai thought he knew about who he was and where he came from. /, end of section 2. /, waiting for your command to continue with section 3.